Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard, and as always, with me is our producer, DJ Swirl.
Hi, you can't see me. I'm having
Oh,
technical difficulties. Right as you said, I was the wizard, and then it didn't put work up. So thanks for that.
yeah, I can see your Bitmoji chin a little bit in the screen.
Yeah, it's all good.
But before we get to introduce to our awesome guest we have on the show, I'd like to give a couple shout outs. First is to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. And to help me along with that is Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. Use the discount code 37HAKE to save you 15% on your entire order. They are a veteran-owned and operated company that doesn't automatically use the cheapest ingredients when they're making their formulas. So you're getting a high quality, no dye, no bullshit supplement. Once again, that discount code is 37HAKE. Tell them that old Jake sent you. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can comfortably wear in and out of the gym. And they also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Use the discount code JAKE15 to save you 15% on your entire order. My last shout out this evening will be to the FitOps Foundation. That's fitops.org. They are an organization that helps veterans rediscover their purpose after their service to this country by helping them become great personal trainers with a step up in the fitness industry. And even if that doesn't work out and you don't get into fitness, you learn great coping skills that help you navigate the civilian world that you wouldn't learn anywhere else. If you're looking for a great not-for-profit to donate to, that's fitops.org/donate. And you know what? This show could not happen without Adhd Studios, but I think I'll let DJ Swirl tell you all about his awesome business.
Again, apologies for no FaceTime. Anyway, Buy to Buy. We are a full-service, on-demand delivery, moving, staging, TV mounting, and assembly company. So if you've got no time, no towing, or muscle to move what you just bought, give us a call, and we will take care of you from the time you buy until the time we say goodbye. The passion side of my project is Adhd Studios, which is what you see here. Not my face, obviously, because that's gone. Oh, I just have to zoom down, I think. There he is. Well, hello.
Hey!
Let me advertise the thing I'm struggling with currently. Anyway,
Hey, there he is.
If you have a podcast, if you have just any kind of content creation that you want to take to the next level without breaking the budget, give us a ring. Hit us up at buytobuy.com or Adhd Studios, everywhere you are online. And we'll reach out to you, find out what we can do to help you get to that place you want to be. As I said last week, and I will say every week, YouTube is currently looking for content creators who have audio podcasts and to make them video as well. So they're paying upwards of $50,000 for people who want to do that. So if that's something that sounds good to you, hit me up and I'll try and get you there.
There you go. Our guest this evening is Mikaela Lindsey, Women's Physique IFBB Pro. Hi, kid.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm living the dream, partying hard, getting fat, growing my beard.
Dropping plates on your body?
You know, from time to time when I'm feeling fancy, seeing if I still got it. So I brought you on because, one, you're great. I miss you. And
thank you.
more people need to see you. All right. There's that. What made you get into the sport of bodybuilding?
So I grew up dancing. I danced from 3 until 13, and during my transition from middle school to high school, I developed an eating disorder. I wanted to do classical ballet, and most of the girls were super thin. And my body type just wasn't super thin. I was naturally muscular, and I got onto point finally after a year of training, and it just like spiraled out of control. It started as like a healthy thing where I was just like logging my calories to obsessing about calories, weighing in multiple times a day, not even enjoying ballet anymore because I was just too invested in looking and comparing my body to others and like looking in the mirror. So eventually my mom pulled me from dance, and because I had a dance background, there is a category in bodybuilding called fitness, that you have a 2-minute routine that demonstrates agility, flexibility, and strength. And one of the ladies at the gym, since I was working out so much, had suggested that maybe I try that. And I was like, okay, why not? But I was new to the bodybuilding scene, so it was a little overwhelming, like thinking of like creating a routine and then also like posing, because there is a presentation, body presentation, and then also the performance. And I decided just to do figure that year, and I was very, very underdeveloped, 16, but it was fun and I really enjoyed it. So then, kind of from that point on, I decided that I wanted to continue to do it. I hired a new coach, and then we had like our first like team. And I, at this point in time, I was in high school, and I didn't have a lot of friends, and I wasn't a part of anything in school because for the better half, I was always a part of a dance team that was separate from the school. So when I stopped dancing, I kind of lost like that family, and I didn't really have anything at high school. So when I joined the other team, there were other females much older than me, but I liked having like that close knit community and being a part of something, because I felt like I wasn't a part of anything. And that kept me going for about 2 years. And then after that, I guess 3 years into the sport, I found out that I really loved it, regardless of if I was on a team or not on a team. And now I've been doing it for a little over 7 years. And I have not been a part of a team for probably 3 or 4 years. But I just really, really love the sport. So it kind of went from something that brought me close to other people and made me feel like I was like a part of something and had a family, to something that I just really liked, on a like solo individual level.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, because I remember, like, 'cause I love fitness. I think fitness is like, no offense to anybody out there, but I think fitness is the coolest division.
It is.
Just because the work, just the sheer amount of work, and then like the time you have to put it in the routine on top of being able to like be in shape and pose, and then
Flip
you know,
around.
yeah, you flip around, do your funky push-ups and handstands and all kinds of stuff. I don't think fitness gets enough love.
It doesn't. It's a dying. It's definitely a dying category. Unfortunately, I'm not part of fitness anymore. I only did 1 year, but it's definitely really, really cool. But it's super challenging. Like you were saying, like just being depleted and performing.
Well, that's another thing too. I think the sport's going in the wrong direction in certain ways, especially when it comes to women. That's in general. I think, especially on the pro side of things, I think there's going to be a backlash of a lot of women that are hurt down the road if they're not really watching their ass. You know what I mean? And
No, absolutely. I
well,
think this
speaking
like
of that,
past. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, speaking of that, you were in the hospital in the middle of your prep last year, or towards the end of your
Yeah.
prep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So not exactly related to the show, but it could be like because I'm partially in denial because I love the sport so much and I want to do it no matter what. I guess that's why I say that it has like nothing to do with prep, but prep does add extra stress onto your plate, and it makes you a little bit emotionally unstable, especially if like I have mental disorders. And basically what it does is it heightens all of those. And then also, the other stuff that you take to be at the next level definitely heightens that stuff too. So it probably is related in terms of stress, and then also, unfortunately, drug use, which is just part of the industry. But I had a suicide attempt, and it went from 0 to like 100 really, really quick. I'm not sure if I wasn't in prep, if I would have had the same outcome. It's still like, I'm not sure, but like my psychiatrist, for example, is very against me prepping, just because it is a lot on someone mentally, and then also mixing in drugs. It just really messes up your chemistry. And I literally, like, I had a session with her, and she was like, "I see you're still bodybuilding," and I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Well, I talk to I talk to women a lot, and they, every once in a while a woman will bring up drugs and like hormones, and I'll go, "Lady, you're like this always naturally.
Uh-huh.
So why would I tell you to go and take something else so you could do this?"
Yeah.
And everyone's hormones are in flux naturally. That's just part of your
Absolutely.
body trying to stay in balance. But like women are more, just with natural menstrual cycles and things. So I'm like, if you're looking for a coach that's going to tell you we're going all the way, like, you'll find somebody else. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not the dude for you. It's not my game. So, oh crap. Well, I was going to ask you, that was also when your mom was real sick then too, right? Or was that after?
After. So my mom has had stage 4 cancer for the past 6 years. So she was like, she's been going through treatment, or she was going through treatment for those past 6 years. So it wasn't anything that was more of an after, I guess 6 months later, where like things really hit the fan with her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to dredge up stuff, but I mean, you had a lot on your plate, especially when all that went down.
Yeah. Definitely. I think just like in general, like prep in general, and then like just work. I was also in school. I was just doing a lot of stuff, and then relationships that didn't work out. I feel like females are very, well, I wouldn't even say females. I feel like females and males in general. Love is a very crazy thing, or what we think is love is a very crazy thing.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this is you're not old. You just turned 24, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was talking to my friend today, and I was like, you have to listen to the show with her because she's 24 and she's had 4 lives.
Yes, I've had so many. It's quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when I met you, you were just 18.
Yeah.
And you and your ex-husband were
Yes.
just started, you'd been like dating for a few months. I was like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, kid, like that whole scene at that time when we all first met was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the atmosphere around there now, but that atmosphere was probably, in a very toxic sport, was probably one of the least toxic places to be.
No, absolutely. I loved it there. Especially when when all the like old, like, Celinda and like Dave and everyone was like there. It was definitely really cool. Although I don't go there much.
That's a common
ownership and everything. Yeah.
That's a common thing I've heard.
Yeah.
Is I don't go there much anymore.
It's very different. There's some people who really love it, and then there's some people who are.
Well, I mean, that's how it's supposed
normal.
to be. That's how it's going to be anyway. But it's like I was like the 5th or 6th trainer there that stuck. Yeah. And I think the only person left from that crew that's still there is John Arthur.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the last man standing.
Yeah.
His wife's really cool. Jessica.
I've not met her. Oh, Jessica
Padilla.
Like Jessica.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
I didn't know that that was his wife. I didn't.
Mhm.
I had no idea.
Yeah, if
Is that
you
like more of a recent?
within the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like
got
really.
like it was one of those things they got married and didn't tell anybody, and then they're just married.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So if you ever look and there's on her Instagram, if she ever puts a picture of John, and you read all of her posts about how she's the queen and oh my god he looks so great, and I'm like, God, that John Arthur guy looks so good. Stay humble. So are you still planning on taking at least this year off from
Yes. Absolutely. I want to finish school. I should graduate like next spring, hopefully. So I want to finish that. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I've had some gaps in between, which have been extremely helpful in terms of like doing better on stage. But I also like want to travel. I haven't spent any time traveling, and competing is really expensive.
Mhm.
So like the amount of money that I've spent on like the show last year, I probably could have went on like two like really nice vacations. So I'm kind of using this year to go ahead and do that and kind of like live a little. Not saying that prep isn't fun and it's not like living, but it's like having another job, and it's like especially at the pro level, like it's you're going to like your main goal is to win. Like that's what you want to do. You want to at least place. So it's definitely it's fun, but it's definitely taxing. Like there's a goal in mind, and like things have to be done to get there.
Mhm.
Which means you're not going on vacations and you're not, you don't have the energy to.
That's something that I don't know anything about. So as I sit here and grow my belly and beard, watch my arms and shoulders shrink, they
Yeah,
just living the dream.
it's a fun life.
Hey,
Although I'm sick and tired of eating
so
food at this point. I'm like bulking and it is a nightmare.
speaking of, you're gonna do a powerlifting meet.
Yes,
Eh,
yes. Super excited. I trained for a powerlifting meet back in 2018 with a coach. And at that time, I was also doing a bodybuilding show. And I didn't realize that powerlifting involved like spending a lot of time working on a singular lift and then doing accessory work. And on top of that, I was supposed to be posing and doing cardio and like all these other
mhm,
things for like a show. And I was like, this is not working for me. So I
mhm.
decided to forfeit to powerlifting at the time. But Big Tex, the gym that I train at, they hosted a powerlifting meet last weekend, and they're hosting another one this weekend. So I was like, it's at like my home base. So it would be really silly not to do it.
I want to say because I've never been to Big Tex because I lived at the Hub. 'Cause
Yes.
that's where I made my money, right? So I didn't have to go anywhere else. But
Right. Right.
everyone I have met from Big Tex has been phenomenal. Just
Yes.
really great. We're just here to let people lift their best life. And
Yes. Yes.
Well played, sir.
thanks, man.
I like the whatever the Popeye arm swing, whatever that was. Sorry.
Yeah, Big Tex is like honestly like really, really a good gym. Rob and Esther are absolutely like phenomenal. Back to that whole like I like having a family type thing. I definitely
Mhm.
I bounced around gyms for I guess like a good like 3 years, and I was unhappy at the last place that I was at, but I was terrified of burning a bridge and not being able to come back. And everyone thinks the grass is greener on the other side, and I was like, the grass isn't always greener. What if I hate it there? And it took me a long time to actually like just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And then I did it, and I love it there. Like Rob and Esther are super positive, no bullshit. They don't do drama. There's literally like if there isn't positivity in the gym, like you're fucking leaving. They will like be like, okay, peace. So it's a great environment, lots of equipment, lots of different athletes, people who just work out. We have like a good mix of like teenagers and which are very cute, very cute, very cute boys. I always wonder, like, I always think too, because they, they're like your like stereotypical Instagram, like with their shirt off and their headphones on and their like flippy hair. And I always like wonder, I'm like, are they like the most popular guys in their like at school? Like I must imagine. But yeah, we have like a huge like we have that, then we have like bodybuilders, we have powerlifters, we have strongman, we have just general gym goers, we have older people who come in. So it's like it's a really nice mix, and somehow it just all kind of meshes together.
Yeah, and I haven't really found an environment too much like that out here. Initially I was at Independence in Scottsdale.
I
They
went
have
there.
they have a really great setup. But,
Yeah, when I went to Sedona, I had went to that gym for one lift.
Yeah, their setup's really nice, but I didn't vibe well with the potential clientele, and I wasn't going to sit there and go further into debt to not make money and maybe build my name back up. So
yeah,
I retired. I basically retired to fully online, and life's been all right.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
I definitely want to start scaling my online business because I feel like that's where it's at. Like especially with like COVID has been like a complete nightmare, but I think one of the things that it has done is it's opened up like opportunities for people to like actually live while they're working. So like a lot of my clients are remote, so that means that they can go anywhere they want and they just work from their computer, and it just like it has opened doors to like not sitting in a office space and like being stuck there from 9 to 5. People have the luxury of like working online and then shutting the computer and then going and doing something else in a different state, in a different country.
Well, everybody I work with, except for one person, is all still in Texas, around the Austin area.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been back there since whenever I moved out here, whenever 2017.
I'm the same. Yeah, I'm the same way when it comes to like time and moving places too, because like everyone asks me like, how long have you been in Austin? And I'm like, I have no fucking idea. I've been here.
Well, it's because you're so was your dad still like switching bases and stuff when you were real young, or
no, he retired the year I was born, so I wasn't a military brat, but I lived near a military base.
That's right, because you grew up around Killeen, right?
Yeah,
beautiful clean.
It's very, very nice, very clean.
What a town. Your first time, so I never knew that I had met your dad. Have I told you this story before? How I met your dad?
No.
Okay, so there was always this huge black man that would come into Mavericks and dance, right? And he'd hang out on the patio, and then and he'd like army bark at me, and I'd oorah back at him and whatever, and then he goes, "Hey man, come here, I gotta show you this. My daughter, she's doing her first national competition. I'm so proud of her." I was like, "Sure, man." No, he was like, "Yeah, you're in that bodybuilding stuff, right? You're into that bodybuilding stuff. Come here, look at this." I was like, "Okay." And he pulls up pictures of you, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So that's how I knew this semi-regular dude was your dad. He was like, "Look at my daughter."
Oh my god, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is crazy.
And that was, when was it you first did nationals? That was
shit. I don't know, maybe 2017.
Yeah.
I think my first national show was 2017.
That was when I was bar backing in security at the OG Mavericks.
Damn.
Yeah.
My dad gets around.
Hey, I'm not here to dog on a man. I don't know. I just I was just I know one of your parents, so so other than school and so you're working to move online. How is personal training and coaching in person now? Like as things are opening back up and moving.
I mean, honestly, like in the beginning when like after like we were able to like go out and go to businesses again, it was like really hard because my gym doesn't like COVID is, you know, so we weren't required to wear masks, and there's a lot of people who actually, you know, came to the gym because they didn't want to wear masks to work out. But I had like a few consultations that really didn't work out because they were very COVID cautious. So it was kind of hard in the beginning. I had like some people that like they still wanted to sign up with me, so I would like travel to go train them like at their apartment gym, just because they would feel, you know, more safe with just like, you know, them and me, or like, you know, me and like a resident or something like that. But since everything has kind of like settled down and it's become like normalized, it's been really good. There are like a couple people who wear masks at the gym, but like clientele is like really, really good right now. It's funny because I'll have consultations, and in the consultation they'll be like, I gained COVID weight, and I was like, COVID was like so year, like you can't use that excuse. But even now, like I still get like people like, I'm trying to lose that like 40 pounds I gained during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's great. I love face-to-face clients. You get to like really like develop a relationship with them, and I think like personal training is, it's like so much more than, you know, obviously you know this, but then just like teaching someone how to use weights and stuff like that. There's so much more depth to it. So it's always nice. Like I love all my clients; they're all great. Like
Right.
the ones who are extra bratty are the best.
Well, see, one of the best things about establishing your name in a place or an area is when you get the ability to really pick and choose who you work with too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. When I first started, I didn't have the luxury of doing that. So I had like a few clients that I just was not too fond of, but I couldn't like really let go of.
Right.
But at this point, I actually have never really had to turn a client away. I've just been really lucky enough that I've vibed with literally all of my clients. I've never had like anything that felt like uncomfortable, or like some like, I've never had a client who I haven't like wanted to go see and train. Let's just put it that way. So
Well, see, I had too much on my plate, and then I wasn't able to really work like I wanted to and care about people like I needed to when it comes to this. So I cut my client base in half about a year and a half ago now. And other than that, I'd only ever fired one person.
nice.
Like, oh man, and
Uh,
there's something so freeing about firing a client.
yes.
Like, have you ever fired somebody before?
No, I've never fired someone, but I've
Oh,
wanted people to quit. Like only like honestly in my personal training career, I think I've only had two people who just really, really drove me nuts. And it was always like every time they'd come in. One of which was so I feel like you have different kinds of clientele. So I have clients who are really invested in changing their body composition and they want to lose weight. And then I have other clients who they just want to work out to feel good. Like, you know, they may be
yeah,
overweight, but like it doesn't really their like their body comp really doesn't matter to them. It's just like it's fulfilling enough for them to just be able to say that they went to the gym and they trained for, you know, 30 minutes or an hour with their trainer, X amount of times a week. So for me, like I can, I know other coaches who just, that drives them nuts because they're very like result driven and they're like, okay, I want, you know, you're hiring a trainer, like you need to get in shape, blah, 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 blah. And I've heard of people who don't really want to work with those kinds of clients, but like I had this like sense of understanding of like, at the end of the day, if the service I'm providing is making you happy, then it doesn't really matter to me. Like if your goal is to lose weight and, you know, you're not losing weight or whatever, then, you know, that's an issue. But if your goal is just to come into the gym, whether you need to lose weight or not lose weight, like I respect that. And if it's making you happy, fantastic. Pet peeve though is when people want to lose weight, but they're not doing the things they need to do to lose the weight and they complain about
And they
it.
blame you. And they blame you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's like, I'm like, as long as you're like honest with yourself, and which a lot of people, like I've been lucky enough to have clients who are honest with themselves, and like the people who are honest and they do their best and they follow the plan, they see results. And then the people who, you know, are not so honest with themselves, but they get it and they're like, okay, I'm not following the plan. This is why I'm not losing weight. Like it's like, okay, like you get it. But it's like the people who, like I had a client who would not follow the diet. She was convinced I didn't know what I was doing, and I don't know why she was paying me, because she was like, well, I'm going to go to a nutritionalist. And I was like, okay, great. Go, like, get a second opinion, do like whatever you need to do. And then she went to a nutritionalist and she still couldn't lose weight. And then she went and got lipo and she still couldn't lose weight. So I was just kind of like, it's not us. It's, you know, it's you.
There's a discipline issue.
Yeah, I'm like, if the nutritionalist didn't have you lose weight, if I couldn't help you lose weight, and then if you did the, you know, the freezing fat cells, and then it lasted for like a week, and then, you know, I can't. Yeah, but anyways, I'm on a
There's a
tangent.
there's a caloric surplus you're lying about.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I fired one lady and she was recently divorced and she was like, I'm gonna do a bikini show like my friend Chris Taylor. Remember Chris? Little Chris?
Yeah,
Yeah.
brunette, right?
Yeah, and she was one of her friends that she'd known forever. And she's like, and Chris was like, yeah, this is my friend. She's great. And I was like, cool, have her come in. And this woman, so how it worked back in the day was if you lived far enough away from me, I do most of your stuff online. But if you are in a place where you can get to me, I'll train you once for free a week.
Nice.
You know what I mean? That'll be your check-in. That'll be us having FaceTime, and that'll, you know, and then we can see how you're doing along your prep. You know, easy peasy. I'm not trying to retire off anybody, but don't waste my time. I won't waste yours.
Right.
And she consistently was a half hour late every time. So I told her, I said, if you are late today, I will not be here, and I'm done with you. And she was late, and I went home, and I quit answering her calls and her texts.
Like done.
No, it's like it's simple. It's simple. You know, like I was still really building a lot of my experience. And two, I'm not going to charge people an exorbitant amount of money as long as I'm, you know, bills are paid and everything's good.
Right.
And I have a little bit of extra. Hey, that's all I need. That's it. So it's like, look, you can go work with whatever you want and spend your $1,500 for your 16-week prep with some guy that's just going to shove a bunch of Clen down your throat and tell you to, you know, lick an ice cube a day. Or we can do this as safe and as healthy as possible, and you're not spending money all willy-nilly.
Right.
You know, and some people are like, I like drugs and ice. Hey, do your drugs and ice. I mean,
I literally, I was prepping for my pro show, and I went out to eat for my grandfather's birthday. And since you said drugs and ice, literally, I went to the bathroom and I got back to the table, and they had put a bowl in front of me with ice and said, "Here you go." I was like, "You fuckers."
Oh, you didn't bring your insulin with you and just say it's okay. Okay, for the people that are probably going to hear this, is don't abuse insulin. But it can be used in a bodybuilding fashion. I'm not going to tell you how or why. Just but don't do it. It's cool though. So since you're a pro, have you been like are you still like are you sponsored by anybody, or are you still
No,
hey, I'm just
I'm
whoa.
just a solo little bean floating around, waiting to be discovered like the pearl I am.
There's websites for that. I've seen those movies. No, I was just curious because I know everything kind of slowed down sponsorship wise for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
usually it's like I don't like the companies I promote. I don't get paid by, and I don't want to be
Right.
because I'm the dude in the background now anyway. I don't need don't use my physique to promote nothing, but a lot of really like top tier people are getting signed by Ricky Schmuck's pre-workout, and and then they end up supplement company bouncing all over the place, and I think that really cheapens not just the company they're working for, but them themselves as a brand.
No, absolutely. Like you have to build what's the word? I don't know, for lack of better words, like trust with the company. Because like I find that like a lot of like, especially like supplement companies and stuff like that, like usually it starts as like an ambassadorship, and then like you prove your worth to them and your value to the company, and then maybe it'll move on to like a sponsorship or something along those lines. But like being like consistent with it, because like you can technically like you should only have like a sponsor for like supplements, a sponsor for like clothing line. Like you can't like cross between like
Yeah.
having two companies or whatever.
Well, it was Frank McGrath was with Animal Pack for like a decade, and that was why when his move to Redcon 1, everyone was like,
Yeah.
huh? I was just I was gonna say if you have folks you need to plug them. So where can people find you if they're interested in working with you? What is
Yeah, so social media, Instagram, I have a Facebook business page, I'm on Google, and then also I have a website. So
what are they?
oh,
So I
is
can
there
write them down and put them in the description. So,
yeah, they're super long. I have the longest email address. Every time I go shopping somewhere, and like if they're like typing in, they're like, "Oh, what's your email?" I'm like, "Can I just do it? Because it's really long." And then like if I'm on the phone and they're like, "What's your email?" I'm like, "It's Mikaela at potentialfulfilledpersonaltraining.com." I'm like, and they're like, "Can you spell that for me?" I'm like, Mikaela@POTNTIL. Like, da 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 da. They're like, "Oh, I missed that word." It's like,
well, how about this? You text me a list of everything, and I'll be sure to I'll promote you. You'll copy and paste style.
Yes, that's the best way to do it. I get tired of like whenever I have to type my email address in and then I have to type it a second time. Like I know I have to type it a second time because I know I'll fuck up like one of the two, and it'll let me know like your passwords don't match, or not your passwords, your emails don't match. But it's always like a pain in the ass because I'm like, there's so many letters. Why did I do this to myself? But it's cool because like, we have like the QR codes anyways now, so you just like fucking scan and like it pops up on your phone, so it's okay. The world is working in my favor.
It'll all work out. It's okay.
Yeah.
So there's another thing I was going to bring up too. It's so I met you when you were just a tiny little girl,
Yes.
and so so you already have this like you have this great loud laugh,
Hmm.
but you didn't talk. So I was talking to I was talking to Kelly. It was the first time I'd ever said anything to you, and I made a Jake joke or something, and you in my good ear. Yeah. So I guess my question is, so you are someone that has experienced some social anxiety. How has that evolved as you've grown up in the sport really?
I mean, honestly, it's evolved a little, but I'm still very socially awkward, I feel. And it's usually when I'm speaking to people like who are like, I don't want to like say like, I guess for lack of better words, above me. So for example, like at work, it's great because Rob, the owner of Big Tex, he's socially awkward too, and me and him just like literally like we're like always laughing at each other, and like we'll literally like there'll be like this awkward like trail of silence, and then we'll just be like, okay, we both understand like this conversation has come to an end. But it's interesting. I typically stumble over words a lot. Like they all like kind of slur together sometimes if I get like super
Yeah.
antsy. So I can't say that it's gotten like a lot better. I don't like. I feel like I'm still very socially awkward, like especially depending on what kind of atmosphere I'm in. It's interesting because I just realized that I started. Well, I've been doing it, but I did a phone call consultation at work, and typically I do it at home, and I have like a bunch of paper floating around, and I'll literally just like doodle during my consultation call. And there was a few consultation calls where I did not doodle, and they went to shit real quick.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because when I was doing the consultation at work, I started like when I doodle, I say everything perfectly. So I feel like if I have like a distraction, I can speak pretty well. But it's like if I don't have something to occupy the like other side of my brain, I just get like super nervous and overwhelmed.
So do you have like ADHD?
So
Is
that's
that
actually something that I'm working on with my psychiatrist right now, because I literally feel like I do, but unfortunately, like this is not true. But she told me that it can't be. Yeah, it's not true. But she said that it can't be diagnosed as an adult. Like it has to be something that was diagnosed as a child.
okay?
So yeah, so which is not because there is onset adult ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that's something we're currently working on because I get distracted very quickly. I try to do too many tasks at once. I'm usually always late because I will start something and then start something else and then like go back to something and then realize that I'm like all out of time. So yeah, I had a call with my psychiatrist today, and we're trying a different medication called Physique, which is an antidepressant and anxiety medication. But supposedly it also helps treat people with ADHD. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I didn't know that
It's-
antidepressant could do that, but I guess we'll see how it works.
yeah, I took my so the VA has me on a really low dose of Adderall, just a 5 milligram. So I took that about a half hour before we got here. But
Hmm.
the reason, so I have my computer sitting up kind of high, so you can't really see my hands, but I'm always playing with something, even
Yes.
when I'm on something, and that's why when you brought that up, I was like,
Yeah.
hey, hey, I know
Sounds
I
like
know that.
yes.
I get that. It was well, and then so it's really hard for me to work like when I'm writing people's stuff, especially when the girls are awake because Daddy Jungle Gym is the coolest thing in the world right now, and I'm not going to like deny my kids playtime. And then, but so so when people go to, I usually get everything done way late at night on the weekends. So
Hmm.
everyone's in bed, but I have to have like, I'm usually watching like some old pro wrestling in the background, or I have like a documentary about an ancient empire. And that's where I can
Something.
kind of like,
Yes. No,
Yep.
I feel that completely. Like I literally, I was driving and I've decided, which I've already fucked this up. But I've decided that I'm not going to text and drive anymore.
Hey,
And I know. Wow. God.
what a realization.
I know. Yeah, I know. And I still suck at it. But I decided to not text and drive. And you know that cool like little multiplication thing with like 9, like where you put your fingers down like this.
Mhm.
Cameras and stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah. So like 9 times 2 is like 18.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Cool.
got you. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm driving
yeah.
and I'm like looking at my hands like this, like, and I'm like trying to do it, and my hands are flipped the wrong way, and I'm driving. And then I'm like, fuck, I gotta flip them the other way. And I was like, does this still work? And I'm like fucking with my fingers and I fucking run over a curb. I'm like, and that's when I realized I was playing with my fucking fingers. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, wait. I'm driving? What?
I mean, that could have been a lot worse.
Could have been. At least it was just a curb.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it together. I really am. That's why like my therapist like canceled again today. And I was like her assistant was like, "Can we just book for next week?" I'm like, "No. I need
Mhm.
something new now." Not next week. Because who
Yeah.
knows where I'll be? I'll be in like Mars or something.
How'd you end up in Albuquerque? Oh,
I don't know.
it was
With my fingers.
it was a Tuesday, and I took a drive.
Yep.
So you're graduating next spring. Business is good.
Yeah.
You're getting your head figured out. So just this is probably, we'll call it here. We'll leave on something heavy. So when it comes to taking bodybuilding drugs and things along that nature, are you still getting your blood work done and getting that read over and checked out?
Absolutely. Yes. I think anybody who decides to go that route, kind of like what you were saying, my thing is like, I see like a lot of coaches put like first time competitors on drugs, and that is like, to me, like you don't even know if this person is going to enjoy competing, and you're messing with their hormones. And then
For
also like,
life. Yeah. Mhm.
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like what can they do naturally, because you haven't even began to see like what they can do naturally. So I see like a lot of people, like I see either a lot of coaches put their clients who are new on drugs, and then I also see a lot of people who are new who are just like super excited about it, and they think that they need to be on drugs too. And I even have clients ask me too, like it's their first show, like, oh, like should I do something? And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm
Yeah.
like, why don't you do a show, see if you like it, and then why don't you do like a whole year and off season and do another show, and like really decide, like, because there are consequences for,
Yep.
there's repercussions for taking drugs, and I think a lot of people don't realize what those repercussions are and how dangerous they can be.
It's because we live in a I want it now society.
Absolutely.
It's
Instant gratification.
I always tell people, it's like, no, we got to see what your natural limit is. And you don't know what that is. I don't know what that is because we just met. You know what I mean? Like there was a young man I was working with, and this was one of my favorite Big Dave moments, because he kept on asking me repeatedly about, should I get on this? Can I get on test? Can I get on? I was like, you're 20. Shut up.
Yeah.
And he comes in one day and we're working out, and he keeps on grabbing at his nipples. I'm like, he goes, we're going, and he goes, man, my nipples hurt. And I said, what are you on, dumbass? And he goes, there's a power lifter at the welding shop, and he gave me a bunch of stuff. So I picked him up by his shit and threw him on the ground. You remember how big Dave was, and I didn't even see him walking by. I pretty much threw him right at Dave's feet, and Dave was like, what the fuck? And I was like, this dipshit kid's taking a bunch of steroids, and he's like, dumbass, and walks.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Too much.
And then I did my best I helped him cycle off everything, but he'd already been running for like 2-3 weeks, and he'd already done. He has have to get the surgery done. Gyno. He'd crashed his natural testosterone to the point where it wasn't going to turn back on because this dude at the welding shop was just shoot it, you'll be okay, And then
could be oil, like not like oil, but like real oil.
Right. Well, see, he's 21 and he had erectile dysfunction and boobs. And I was like,
fun. I told you.
Yeah. And then that's not even close to the horror stories that you'll hear with fucking bikini competitors. My God.
I had a client who we did a show naturally, and we did bikini, and she came in entirely too lean, and then she hired a different coach, who I know, and she messaged me and she was like, I'm on Tren, and I was like, you're on what?
Why?
And she switched to wellness, and she was on Tren, Winnie, like a bunch of shit, and she's like, well, like, what do I do when I like finish? And I'm like, why are you asking me like what you do? Like, you need to talk to your coach who put you on this shit.
Yeah.
And figure out I was just like, you're a fucking wellness competitor. And she was like still soft, like softer than when we did it naturally. And I was just like, it just blows my mind. I'm like, why?
Let's see. You and I both know women that have the potential to be really good athletes, but potentially great, just genetically, and then they're now they're on HRT and their thyroids don't work, and that breaks my heart. Like that I don't know how to do it, but the culture of right here, right now for a 5th place in an NPC Open show, like, come on.
I think one of the things
with
like competing, and I think like one of the things with competing too is like it's very hard to like separate that like competing is not like it's not the only thing on this planet. And I think that was something that was really hard for me to come to terms with, especially when I was younger, like when I was 16, like I was like, this is my life, like blah, 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 blah. And I see a lot of like new competitors who like started, and I think it's because it makes people feel special because it's not something that everybody does, which I've never maybe as a kid I've had that mentality, but like as an adult, like it's like, people are like, oh, I couldn't do a show. And I'm like, anybody can do a show. Like, it's like, you just have to want it, you have to want it enough. And I was like, there's people who have like different outlets, like, makeup artists, like I can't do makeup worth shit, but they spend time looking at makeup videos and like practicing and learning how to do it. And they do epic work. It's like the same thing with bodybuilding. Like you love what you do and you spend a lot of time on it. So like, if you're willing to invest the time, like anybody can do it. But it's the thing that like people get so wrapped up and obsessed with it, and like honestly they become shitty people because they think that they're the center of the universe, and oh, I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm that. Well, it's your choice to be hungry, and it's a privilege to be hungry, and so it's just like, and they become crummy. A lot of relationships end, not just romantic relationships but friendships, just because like just that aspect, but then also there's so much more to life outside of competing. Like wherever you are in your life, like for me, like family is really important, school is important, my business is important. Like those are all things that like I love competing, but those things kind of topple over competing. Whereas for some people, it's just not that way. It's like competing is like top ranked. But at the end of the day, when you're broken and all sorts of fucked up, competing it's not gonna help you.
Yeah. It's that Rich Piana, Old Mutant, leave humanity behind.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your vibe, I mean, I don't think he died unhappy. So
No,
but
I don't think so either. I mean, he died doing
what he loved.
whatever he wanted to.
Yeah.
But no, I am not I've said this before on other shows. Like, I'm not anti performance enhancing drugs by any means. I think that if you are using them correctly and under, a doctor's supervision to make sure you're not, crashing your kidneys and your liver and everything's working,
Good.
then
Yeah.
more power to you. Chase your dreams. But like, there's too many gym bros that are just like, I got this bathtub test that I made from some powder that might be from China. Maybe, I don't know, but here you go, kid.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to make that culture stop, but like, I will continue talking at least shit about it, like,
Yeah. It's very hard because you find like people who are younger and younger, like doing stuff like just like, like I said, there's like teenagers at my gym who are like doing stuff, and it's just kind of like if I didn't compete, it wouldn't be something that I would probably consider. But I know a lot of people who don't compete, and it's like something that they just really, really do. And I'm like, it's not like it's not worth it. Well, I don't want to say like it's not worth it to me at that point, but apparently it is worth it to them.
Yeah, and it comes down to that's your body, your choice. Do what you feel, but I just don't think that the actual education is. I mean, the actual education is out there, and you've got people out there that be like, "Hey, dummy," but I don't think it's as promoted in the same light as, check out this stack I found on an old bodybuilding forum.
I always wonder too. I was in a business class a few years ago, and I had to write an essay, and it was whether or not steroids were ethical or not, and whether they should like be a part of anything. But it always like makes me like wonder like if they were legal and like doctors actually like prescribed them, like if they would be as abused as they are.
Well, see, that's part of my whole war on drugs in the war on drugs period thing. Yeah. Because a big portion of why drugs are so dangerous and fun is because if you get caught, you're going to prison. That's And then so I mean, when it comes to steroids, I'm just like, if it's something that you can get legitimately prescribed to you, of course there's going to be people abuse prescriptions all the time. But I think the allure of
may not be there as much.
Not as much, at least, like.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope either which way, honestly. Like it's like I can see pros and cons to like both of them. And it'd just be like really hard to like distinguish like whether or not like you should prescribe this to someone or not prescribe it to someone or whatnot. I don't know, it's just all a slippery slope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that like a sports doctor that could be part of their medical training. Like, are you coming to me for this kind of thing? That would be I guess the ethical way to go about it. But I'm pro recreational cocaine and hookers for those who abide, and and honestly, I think steroids would probably be in the same boat as that.
Oh yeah.
Well, anyway, you gotta go to sleep. You got an early morning ahead of you.
Yes.
You stayed up late. You stayed way up. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, we should set it up to do. Have you come back on after you graduate? We can catch up and you can tell the tens of people that'll see this your plans for the future.
Right on.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Thank you for listening to the Sober Swole podcast. Once again, I am Jake Howard. That's our guest, Mikaela Lindsey. She's dope. I'll put all of her links in our description. DJ Swirl, send us home.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
And there it is.